pulled some cards today from my Astro Starcode Oracle to ask what archetypal energies have some messages for us today, because I'm super into astrology. I love astrology. I'm an astrologer. And so I wanted to get some messages from the stars and cosmic concepts, I guess, themselves. So I pulled a card for each group, and I did a reading on them. I spoke first to what the energy and or archetype itself was looking to tell you or looking to have you know. And then I pulled some advice about how to implement that information. And then I pulled some cards that were kind of just for fun and or more information on what was going on with the energies in each particular reading. So I want, if you would like to, everyone to take a deep breath with me. And you can pause if you need to, but I'd like you to choose one of these three groups. For group 1, we have Venus and Beloved. And or if you feel more comfortable choosing with stones, I have this Labradorite Teardrop. If you make jewelry and would like to make jewelry out of this, send me a message. I think it would be fun. For group 2, we have the North Node and Future. And it has this really awesome, like, honeycomb. It's not focusing on it. I'm sorry. There we go. Honeycomb type rock, stone thing. And then for the third pile 3, we have the third house, which is about communication. And then we have this, I'm not sure if it's rough rose quartz or pink calcite, but that is group 3. So I will see you at your reading in the future. Bye. Hello everyone. If you chose the Labradorite Teardrop and group 1, this message is for you. So today we have the archetype and energy of Venus coming through, and we are going to see what this archetype and energy has to say to you today. I'm just pulling out some cards. Okay, so we have the Star, the 6 of Wands, and the 6 of Pentacles. I also want to note that 6 is the number of the lovers, which speaks very much to that energy of Venus and love, but Venus can also be about receiving. And I think that this is what this particular reading is talking about today, all right? So we start here with a Star, which talks about healing and hope and wishing upon a star, right? So when you wish upon a star, receiving it is inevitable, but we kind of have to allow ourselves to receive it and allow ourselves to go through the healing necessary to do so, right? So if you see my cat up there, no you don't. Or you do, but anyways, he's here to bless this reading. And so if you see like a shadow from over there, that's what that is. There's also smoke from incense going around. Anyways, back to the Six of Wands here. So the Six of Wands in this deck is giving the rainbow after a rainstorm feeling, right? And then here even like you have these little buds. It's like buds are the first thing in spring, so it's the first sprouting of leaves and flowers after a long hard winter, right? So, and something that I like to point out too about the star is the sun is a star. So the star is talking about shining your sunshine, your personal light in a constellation, in community, because the star also relates to Aquarius. So when you shine your light in your community, you give to your community can give back. It's this concept of taking care of the whole system automatically allows you to be taken care of because you are part of the system. You are part of the whole. So this is very interesting because I'm actually re-recording this because the first time I did group 1, it just didn't feel right. It felt wonky. Then I did group 2 and it felt right. And it's funny because in group 2, I talked a lot more about embodying the sun energy, but this is more of embodying the sun on like a collective energy. So it's very interesting. I love how it's relating like the give and take. And this does too. The Six of Pentacles talks about giving and taking, giving and receiving, about receiving so you can give and giving so you can receive. It's all about balance, right? So I would like to pull some advice on how do we kind of implement this, right? So the way that you're going to be able to feel more capable of giving and receiving, of healing, it's going to be a lot of self-love too. And so that's, again, the sun energy, the star, shining your light. Are you treating yourself the way you would treat your best friend or your partner or your child, depending on which of those you have or not, you know? Something that I see a lot of people do is they'll treat other people like amazingly, and then they won't extend the same grace to themselves. But this is talking about treating yourself the way that you would treat other people, because there are so many people, especially in the spiritual community, who want to give to the whole, and I think that's a beautiful thing. I'm even saying to do that because you're part of the whole, and they do it at the expense of themselves. They do it at the expense of burdening themselves to the point where they get burnt out. And that's not taking care of other people. That's not fair to the people that you're taking care of. And that might sound a little bit harsh, and I just want, and if it does, that's fine. And if you don't like it, feel free to let me know. However, I want to think about, like, what if the roles were reversed? What if someone you loved very, very dearly, like you adored, or what if it was your best friend or your child or your partner, right? And they were burning themselves out to take care of you, or not even you, but just literally everyone but themselves. How would that feel? How would it feel to watch that? And now remember that if you're doing that, that's what's happening with your loved ones, is they're watching you do that. And so that's why I say that it isn't fair to the people that you're taking care of, because I know for me personally, I would never want anyone to burn out because they were trying to take care of me. I'd rather have them tell me no. I'd rather get angry and upset and hurt and then come back and be like, oh yeah, crap, that was really crappy of me to, and I mean, getting upset and hurt by someone setting a boundary is, I think, kind of a natural response, because, you know, when we're used to something and then someone changes it, it can be a little bit surprising, right? But then it's on us to kind of look at it and be like, oh, okay, no, like, I really love this person and I honor this person and I can respect this boundary. And if you can't respect that boundary, then it is your responsibility to say so and be like, I'm sorry, I don't think we're a good fit for each other's lives anymore. And that's nothing bad on either end. It's just being aware and being honest, right? So another piece of advice to allow us to give and receive in a very balanced way is to ask ourselves, what if everything was happening for me? How amazing could I make my story with that perspective? So this is asking us to examine our thought processes, because a lot of people will be like, and I love that I put this underneath the rainstorm, right? Like, people will see like just the rainstorm and they'll be like, oh my gosh, there's a rainstorm, this is terrible. And then, but there's a rainbow right there, right? And some people only focus on the rainbow and not the rainstorm. And that's also not, you know, fantastic. But it's being like, okay, I see the rain and the rainbow. And you know what? Maybe I can dance in the rain. Maybe I can have fun with this. Maybe this can actually be an okay thing. It's not about denying what is. It's about acknowledging it and then choosing what we want to do with it from there. And so when we do that and we choose like, oh no, it's really actually important to me to allow myself to receive, because allowing yourself to receive is allowing others to give as well. It's all about perspective. It's all about perspective. So the last piece of advice that we have is everything is connected. Every single thing in this universe is connected. And when we realize that, and when we realize that we're no different from anyone else and no one else is different from us, then we kind of allow ourselves to shift our perspective a little bit more gently and easily, and be a little bit more kind to ourselves. All right. Now I want to pull a few cards to give us a little bit of something fun to look at, something that Venus would like us to do to kind of incorporate some play and fun. Okay, so we have book and spacesuit. So I've got a couple things for this, and I'm laughing because I'm looking at spacesuit and I'm just like thinking about astral travel and just the fun things that we can do there, but also like, you know, when you're reading a book, like getting lost in fantasy, right? To me, these are both talking about allowing yourself to daydream, allowing yourself to sit in the, whatever you want to call it, the quantum field, the astral realm, the imagination, however best resonates for you. We have a lot of different words for the same things. It's really funny. But allowing yourself to sit there and be like, okay, like, what story do I want my life to tell? How do I actually want to look at things? How can I get lost in the daydream and allow the daydream to become reality? That's what I'm getting from that. And if that isn't your idea of fun, then why are you afraid of dreaming? Why are you afraid of letting yourself dream? Are you afraid that you'll get disappointed? Are you afraid that if you allow yourself to dream, you won't get your dreams? But what if you don't get what you dream because you're meant to get something even better than what you dreamed of? Yep. I'm gonna pull another card. So, we have the Scorpion. And sure, a scorpion can sting, right? But this is talking about time boundaries to allow ourselves to have fun. Okay, so this is a card that deals with fire. You know, Scorpio, I'm a Scorpio, so I immediately think of Scorpio when I see scorpions. Anyways, a scorpion kind of screams like, my boundaries are to be respected, because it has pinchers, it has a venomous tail, it's like, it has a hard outer shell, and it's really, really protective of its boundaries, right? And it allows itself to be honest about its boundaries. And it'll, like, a scorpion won't just sting out of nowhere, right? It stings because it feels threatened. It stings because it feels unsafe. And so going back to time boundaries, right? Like, make play and fun and something you enjoy a non-negotiable. Put boundaries around it. Respect it. Make sure that other people know to respect it. Like, no, this is my time to play. This is my time to have fun. This is my time to enjoy myself. Put it on your calendar if you have to. I'm serious. Put it on your calendar. You're allowed to have fun. You're allowed to have boundaries around your fun. And you're allowed to have things that you won't do for fun too. Like, if someone says like, oh, you should loosen up a little, live a little, have some fun. Like, you get to define what fun is to you. You don't have to go by other people's definitions. Listen, if doing spreadsheets is your definition of fun, like genuinely, please do it. The world needs more people like you. I hate doing spreadsheets and I admire people who love doing it. Okay. So our final card is Teapot, a deep friendship with someone of the same sex. So to me, this speaks about like building communities of, like, obviously we need to bridge the gap between sexes and genders and just everyone in general, right? But there's something to be said about like healthy men getting together and empowering each other and holding each other accountable, and then doing that in a group for themselves and for women, and then women being in healthy groups of other supportive women supporting each other. And if you don't identify with the gender binary, this is just talking about being with people who are similar or very close to your identification, right? So if you're non-binary or whatever, it's kind of, to me, this concept of the more we have in common, the more we can generate a momentum of energy. So, and this is not to say to exclude people who are not like you. I am so not for that. But the concept of an echo chamber doesn't always have to be a bad thing. It can be when nobody is questioning anything and everyone is just mindlessly going along. But if we could use things that are like quote unquote negative concepts like an echo chamber for something positive, like really positive thoughts or something that's good, like to me an echo chamber is just momentum of an idea or ideal. And if we're using it mindfully and we're using that concept purposefully, I think it can be a good thing. Now, I feel like that kind of went everywhere. But again, this is really like about allowing yourself to receive and give in equal measure, and allowing yourself to be with the people, places, and things who light you up, and treating yourself the way you treat other people. And if you don't like the way you treat other people and wouldn't want to treat yourself that way, maybe examine that. Anyways, I have so much love for you and I'm so glad you are here. Bye. Hi everyone. If you chose this honeycomb like crystal, then this group is group 2 and it's your group. The archetypal energy that's coming through that wants to give you a message today is the North Node, and as everybody probably knows and has heard, the North Node is currently in Pisces. So I'm guessing this reading is going to come up with some of those themes for you. So first we are asking, what does this archetype want to tell you? What is it interested in having you know at the immediate moment? And we're going to have the cards pulled out here. So we have the 4 of Cups. We have the Queen of Cups, or in this deck it's the Mother of Cups. We have the Empress, and we have the Father of Pentacles, or the King of Pentacles. All right, what I'm getting from this is, we'll start with the 4 of Cups. The 4 of Cups often talks about, what are you refusing to look at? Because in the traditional Rider-Waite, the 4 of Cups has someone looking at like 3 spilled cups while the universe is kind of like handing a cup out, like, here, I have a cup for you. And so this North Node energy, this future destiny type energy, is here to tell you, I have a gift for you. I have something for you. Are you gonna look at it? Are you gonna, listen to me? Are you gonna heed the calling? And it's also talking about like nurturing, like I'm getting like reparenting yourself too, because you have a mother and a father, and you have you know, the emotional nurturing and the physical nurturing. You have the, you know, divine cosmic mother being like, I am supporting you fully emotionally in everything you do. It's the mother that when you're crying and you've scraped your knee, she's not like, oh, rub some dirt in it or walk it off, or, you know, she's not the overly smothering, like, oh, honey, don't cry. Like, it's okay. She's just there. She's like, oh, sweetie, are you okay? And, you know, gives the kid the opportunity to, like, just cry it out. And so this North Node is coming into to say, like, if there's anything that you haven't been looking at, allow yourself to grieve it, allow yourself to cry it out. And, you know, then the Father of Pentacles really talks about allowing, like, having a safe space to do that in, right? Because, like, to me, the Father of Pentacles, you know, the King of Pentacles, is that dad who is, like, just very, very, like, supportive. He may not be super emotionally invested. He may not, I mean, he's not the King of Cups, right? He may not be super passionate, but he's like the dad that is the rock. Like, he will make sure that he's there physically to tangibly support. It may not be with words, it may not be with emotions, but his presence is felt. And so having, like, these two energies on either side of the Empress, it's giving me the feeling of reparenting yourself so that you can be in your Empress energy, whether or not you're a man or a woman or someone who is non-binary. It doesn't matter. The Empress is about sitting back, leaning back in your power and allowing yourself to receive. It's kind of like letting other people do things for you, right? And so then you see the crescent moon in both the Empress and the Four of Cups. And that's giving me the feeling of, you know, how I was talking about, what are you not seeing? What are you not looking at? And are you, you know, that's what you're not looking at, is you're not seeing, you have this offer of personal power right in front of you, but maybe you're looking at things from the past and being like, oh my gosh, I wish upon a star that things could have been different. But unfortunately, the best we can do is reparent ourselves so that we can be that best version of ourselves. So now looking to practical advice, how can we implement this information? And I'm using a deck that I made that is still kind of a prototype because it's not the finished draft and there are some cards written in, but it's very, very dear to my heart. So one of the pieces of information that we're getting is to take the long way home and just enjoy the ride, right? Pardon me. So that's talking about, again, this Empress energy of stop and smell the flowers. Kind of take the winding road. Allow yourself to enjoy the scenery. Allow yourself to just enjoy what's going on. It's also talking about surrender, right? It's asking you to be open to the possibilities. Now, what's another piece? Oh, well, we got another two pieces of advice. Okay. So this message is a lot about self-love and healing our, emotional pasts and histories, right? Because then we have emotional body. So there's different theories about, like the physical, the mental, the emotional, the etheric body, what have you. And this is talking to me about allowing yourself to kind of go into those emotions. If you are someone who knows what emotion code is, or if you've never heard of it and you're curious, I recommend looking into it. It's, honestly, I don't know the full details of it. I just know someone who does it, and she's really amazing at it. But, and I'll tag her below, too. But it's something that kind of allows you to clear those old emotions to make room for the things that you actually want in your life. And so then the last card that I pulled is just a heart drawn on there. And to me, that speaks about the heart chakra, acting from love, loving yourself like you wanted your parents to love you. It's about acting from love for ourselves, and it's about acting on love for ourselves and remembering that self-love is loving other people. And the best way I can describe what that actually means is what you are doing to yourself, you're doing to other people, right? The as within, so without, as above, so below concept, in one of its forms, is the way you're treating yourself is the way you're treating other people. So if you're treating yourself with a lot of harsh judgment and criticism and cruelty, you will be doing that to other people, even if you don't see it, even if it's just an internal process. The unfortunate thing that I see is the people who are, hardest on themselves is they're also can be very critical of other people. And I'm saying this from personal experience. I used to be this person. I can still be this person sometimes, where I just get into a place where I'm very down on myself, and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh my god, why is that person doing this? Or what were they thinking? How could they do such a thing? And I'm like, oh wait, like I'm literally doing the same thing to them in a way by judging them so harshly for what they're doing. And I know that can be a little bit of a difficult thing to hear, because we all want, like, at our hearts, we all want to be good people. We all, oh my god, sorry, I just split this deck to shuffle it, and because courage talks about the hearts. At our heart, we all want to be good people. We all want to do good things. We all want to show people love. And I think when we allow ourselves to be like, yeah, I can occasionally be not so great and not so pleasant, instead of trying to deny that we are just as capable of doing the things that we don't like seeing in others, it makes it easier for us to look at ourselves and see ourselves with compassion and love when that happens, so that we don't do it again. So that we can act from our integrity. Now, I want to pull a couple cards to just give us something fun, some fun information from this archetype of the North Node, of looking to the future, of destiny. Haha, we have the net. So the net talks to, like, I don't even know what it actually talks about in the Oracle deck off the top of my head, but I'm just seeing, like, little kids like going and catching bugs and having fun, like, and a lot of people don't like bugs, right? So to me, this is like, have some fun actually just looking at the things that you maybe don't like so much. Maybe with like that childhood curiosity and play of like, oh, like what if I just looked at this like a little kid looking at a bug, like without, you know, a parent being like having told a kid to be, or without observing people being afraid of bugs, right? Like kids are just naturally curious about them. They're not like, oh my god, this thing is gonna hurt me or whatever. And I mean, yes, there are some bugs that are not particularly safe, but at the end of the day, you know, it's more about, I lost my train of thought. Yes, there are some bugs that aren't safe, and it's about learning how to respect them, how to treat them with respect and dignity rather than being afraid of them, right? So I'm gonna pull one more card for funsies. Yeah, and we get the bear. So I'm just getting like mama bear energy. Again, of be super protective and loving towards your inner child. Like they love you, and they really want to protect you, and they want to see you okay. And so it would be awesome if we could all protect our inner children the way that they want to see us do well. And final card is hammock. Taking a vacation physically or mentally. To me, again, that talks about the play, that talks about having fun. Allow yourself to take a break. You deserve it. So much love. Have a great day. Hello, everyone. If you chose the rose quartz, I think, rough piece, it's either rose quartz or pink calcite. Not sure. Not 100% certain. Anyways, if you chose this group, this is group 3, and it is your reading. And the archetype and energy that wants to come through to give you advice today is the 3rd house. The 3rd house is all about communication. So, obviously, when asking what does this energy or archetype want us to know, it's what are we being asked to communicate? What are we being asked to communicate? Swords. Okay, it looks like boundaries is a theme today. Oh yeah. Very much. Boundaries seems to be the theme of the day. I want to pull one more card. Yeah. So this is talking about communicating your boundary, right? So we have the Page of Swords and the Hermit. I often see the Page of Swords and the Rider-Waite very much as, you know, like kind of a little bit of a defensive figure of like, I've got my sword at the ready and I'm willing to say the thing with swiftness, to say my boundary with swiftness. So this is talking about enforcing your boundaries and enforcing them in the moment. Because the 8 of Wands is a very fast-moving card. In this card, it's a lightning strike. It talks about, you know, doing things right now. Especially in this instance where it's talking about communicating your boundaries, right? So then to further speak to the idea of boundaries, we have the Hermit, which the hermit is, you know, allowing yourself to hermit away, allowing yourself to be in your cave. And so I find it really amazing that the imagery between the cards, like, it's all kind of connected, right? So you have a rainbow lightning strike, and then you have the rainbow dots around the Page of Swords here. And then in this you have, like, this is to me almost like as if you were to take this candle and like look down at it from the top, right? So you have the hermit with their little light, like, just kind of shining, and a lot of people, like, if you're looking at the hermit from the front, you're like, oh my gosh, like, they're all in their shell, they're all like tucked away from any and all light. But like, if you're looking at them from above, they're the sun, they're the brightest thing ever, right? So it's all about perspective and how you're looking at things. And so anyways, when speaking about boundaries, the hermit too is about who has access to this light, who gets the perspective of looking at this light from the vantage point of, oh my god, this is actually a radiant sun, versus, oh my gosh, this person is a turtle in their shell, right? Because I often have experience where I get both things from people. Like, there are a lot of people who think I'm super withdrawn, and there are people who think I'm super bubbly and very, you know, bright and sunshiny. And a lot of that has to do with where I'm willing to give my energy at any given time. That's not to say that anyone is less deserving of receiving my light or that they're not worthy of it. It's just, is it something that I'm valuing putting my time and energy into? It says nothing about the other person and everything about me, really. That being said, we're being asked to communicate our boundaries. We're being asked to do that in the moment and to be discerning with what views of ourselves we give other people. So what's some advice on how we can do that? We have allow your fear to burn away and rise from it like a phoenix. So a lot of times we can be scared of communicating our boundaries in the moment. It can be terrifying to be like, oh my gosh, I kind of didn't like what you did just now. I actually had a personal experience of that very recently, where something came up in conversation and someone acted in a way that felt really uncomfortable, and I said, could you please not do that? And I was honestly shocked with myself in the best possible way. And I think, you know, if we allow ourselves to be, we can be very surprised with ourselves and come up in a way that is like the phoenix. It's allowing ourselves to have that fear and move through it anyways and be kind of pleasantly surprised by what comes through, right? So then the other piece of advice is somatic healing. So it's very difficult to communicate when you're in fight or flight mode and you don't feel safe. So somatic healing speaks about healing in our physical body, in a physical process, so that we can release the things that are trapped in our body. So there are a lot of different ways to do somatic healing. My favorite has been yoga. It's just been and I'm talking yin yoga, not like power flow or something super fast paced. For me, it's been allowing myself to move in my body slowly and with gentleness and with kindness to my body while being very, very present in my body and sitting with the sensations and just allowing whatever it is to come up and feel it with love. Obviously there are different methods of somatic healing. I also like to do things that induce shaking in me, so like holding certain yoga poses does that to me sometimes, and I will start shaking, and then if I let the shaking continue, I inevitably start crying. And this is you know, obviously something you should only do in an environment where you feel safe and like it's safe to do this. But for me personally, it's been very effective and helpful. So working on your somatic healing so that you can feel safe to communicate your boundaries, feel physically safe to communicate your boundaries. Now, another piece of advice is air. So just a quick disclaimer that this is my deck. I made it. It is still a little bit of a prototype, as you can see by the handwritten card. And I mean, they all have the same backs, so I wouldn't know. But anyways, again, with air coming up, I'm getting breath work for this in particular, especially with regards to somatic healing. Honestly, I can't believe I didn't think of it when somatic healing first came up, but that is one of the ways of doing somatic healing, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, so actually I'm gonna put those together because they're very, very similar, and I'm gonna pull two more pieces of advice because two came out. So speak your truth louder for those in the back. Sometimes it has to be done messily. Sometimes, yeah, because what also came out with that was let go, let go, let go of any insistence of what should be. Sometimes we think that we have to enforce our boundaries in a way that is like perfectly balanced and perfectly perfect right from the start, but no. It takes some practice. It takes allowing yourself to do it messily. And for me personally, this has shown up as, yes, I get snappy sometimes. Sometimes I yell. Sometimes I cry. I don't yell very often, but it does happen. Sometimes it just comes across as me being a jerk. And a big part of me enforcing my own boundaries has been learning to be like, okay, I did it imperfectly, but I did it. Now, how do I move forward with this? How do I actually want to do it in the future? How do I really want to express myself in the future? Do I want to come across as snappy? No, not really. Why did I come across as snappy? And just kind of going into my thought process. Like, a lot of the times I come across as snappy because I feel like I can't express my boundary, or like I'm not allowed to, or like the other person will get hurt. And that becomes its own self-fulfilling prophecy because then I get snappy and the other person does get hurt. So learning that has allowed me to get better at, has allowed me to get better at saying the things that I want and need to say, because I know that it's all a learning curve, and if I don't do it at all, there's no point. Like, nothing happens if I don't do it anyways. And then I just build up resentment, and it sucks. So I decide to say the thing and say it imperfectly. I don't advocate for yelling and sometimes I know it's necessary. So anyways, now I want to pull some things maybe for a little bit more of a fun message. So we've got the moon and we've got, oh my gosh, shooting star. So it's funny because I was gonna actually talk about, because I'm filming this the night before the Pisces new moon. And so I was going to talk about manifesting when I pulled the moon, and then the shooting star came out, and yeah. So this whole reading is asking you not only to communicate your boundaries, but to communicate with the universe, your wishes, your hopes, and your dreams. This is absolutely exposing how strange of a child I was, and I love myself for it. When I was a little kid, I didn't wish on stars. I talked to the moon to make my wishes. I told the moon about all my problems. I just talked to the moon like the strange child that I was. And I don't think being strange is a bad thing, by the way. Like, I think strange is my favorite flavor of person, and so I love that. And shooting star, like, when you see a shooting star, you make a wish. To me, this is dreams really do come true. This is, I've told the moon my wishes, I've told the moon my hopes and dreams, and this shooting star is coming along to be like, yes ma'am, wishes do come true. Because a shooting star really feels like a dream come true. It's this sudden blink and you miss it thing, and I've never seen one, by the way. So, but I can only imagine like how incredible it would be. Now watch me see one in a few days or something, just randomly. Wouldn't that be something? So I want to pull another card for fun. And two, when you're speaking your wishes, like, I find that speaking them out loud helps. I just want to pull one card, one singular card from this deck, please. Not 5, not 2. The magic number shall be 3. If you get the Monty Python reference, thank you. It was very, by the way, like, it wasn't a very clear one, but I made it. Yeah, so I saw another card in another deck, and it's a B card, and it speaks about sweet rewards after hard work. So again, this is talking about, like, when you put in the work to do the manifesting, to set your boundaries, to say what your boundaries are, to let people know what's what, you get a sweet reward at the end. You get the reward of knowing that you put in the work, that you put in the effort, that you did it, that you allowed yourself to be in your to be in your authenticity. Also, for my people out there who know anything about bee breath in yoga, or I think it's called bee breathing, or it's where you like hum and plug your ears. It's a yoga breathwork thing, which is going back to the breathwork that I was talking about earlier. That would probably be a interesting thing for you to try. So now I'm gonna pull one more card, and chair filled. Someone is entering your life. This is a reminder that making our boundaries, speaking our boundaries, speaking about our boundaries by communicating them, we might empty some chairs at our table. We might make some people decide that they're no longer, like I said, they're not able or willing to engage with that boundary in the way that you need. And so they may have to leave your table. And that's okay, because if you're wishing and dreaming for something, there has to be empty chairs for people to sit in. And if there are no empty chairs, if there's no empty spaces, then those hopes and dreams are just kind of like hovering around the table like, that person looks so cool, but there's no chairs. What do I do? I want to sit at this table with this person, but there's no empty chairs. And so by setting those boundaries and emptying those chairs, you make room for those other things to come in. I really, really love everyone so much. Thank you all so much for being here. I will see you next time.